Okay, the idea here is that basically we have a potential client that have their own, they have a division. So this is division is responsible to acquire facilities. So I'll explain the whole process, but let me explain what we are doing here in the meeting. In the meeting today, what we're going to go through the Uruk tailored method builder wizard that we have developed to build a tailored method for a client. If you remember, in most of our marketing and sales discussion, we said that we have two type of client or three type of client. We have one type of client that does not have any process. They do not have a methodology. In that case, they will use one of the built-in method that we have built into the platform, right? And so far we have 49 methods, and we'll continue to build more as times come. The alternative, if a client have some kind of a paper process, they follow, but they don't have it as a digital solution, basically then we can take their process and map it to Uruk. So today we are dealing with that situation. We have a potential client that have some kind of a process, but the way they manage project today, everything they manage basically via email and phone calls. They don't have a digital process to manage project. Now, this division of this company, basically the company in this case is Baker Hughes, which is a well-known, huge global oil and gas services company. They provide a lot of facilities to oil and gas companies offshore. It's a huge, huge operation all over the world. They have a division, they call it, I think they call it the capital project. I'm not sure what they call it, or the real estate team. They're probably about, I think if I'm not mistaken, they have about 15 people, maybe somewhere between 10 and 20 people all over the world. Some in Dubai, some in Australia, some in the US. Now, what do these people do? Because Baker Hughes work in the oil and gas support service, so they might win a contract somewhere, maybe in a contract for Aramco in Saudi Arabia, where they have to go provide support services to an exploration site. So basically, Aramco, we're going to go explore for oil in the desert somewhere, and they need support. So they might hire Baker Hughes to provide them support. In this case, Baker Hughes, Schlumberger, and Halliburton are probably the three largest company in the world that provide this type of service. So they might be providing support services to do this, they need to set up operation, right? So they need to set up maybe a warehouse, maybe they need to set up a facility, site offices, and obviously these are more than just trailer. They need to have to set up something very extensive. So this team would take over that project from the time they identify the need from their operation people until they hand them over a facility that is ready to operate. It could be an expansion of office building somewhere. Maybe they're entering a new market, a different country. So basically, it's a real estate. So the idea here is these guys work on facilities project, and these facilities are typically real estate facilities, meaning buildings, warehouses, lab, anything that is they need to construct to support some kind of contract or operation. Are we okay so far?
Yes.
Okay, this is their process. I'm going to share screen. You all see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they have they identify this process like 9 stages, and then in the other pages here they expand on these stages, and they provide more information. Now, as you can see at the top level, this looks a lot like what Uruk does. So basically, what we need to do today is I'm going to take their process as is without modification. I mean, I have some comment and feedback on improving this process, but that usually if we sell a client, let's say if we sell them the service, then basically could be where we, in addition to selling them subscription to Uruk, there might be some additional project management support services we can offer them, such as improving this process, right? That is what come in as additional services. Remember, we have subscription service where they get the platform, and they could optional request additional services. At this time, I'm going to assume their process is perfect. They don't want us to to touch it. They just want us to replicate it. Right? So we have 9 stages here. Now, I spent about half an hour before the meeting looking at this, and I tried to map it. They don't have phases here, but in our approach, we have phases. And the way I look at it, I look like 1 and 2 here are more or less similar, and actually part of 3 as well. They are part of what we call the discovery phase for Uruk, right? Number 3 could be in between. And then they have what we call development, they might call the front end. And then at one point in time, we move to implementation. Now, this area where I need maybe input from them to draw the line on the phases, but that doesn't really matter. I can draw whatever line I want today. And then later on, we can verify with them. They don't show gates, but technically, in a way, the gates are here, right? So there is the first major gate happen after the opportunity. If we look at the detail, and technically this detail is what goes into the project. Remember, in Uruk, every stage have a deliverable. So in a way, what they're saying us here is that they are working on something here to produce a document. We can call the document whatever we want. For Uruk, we call it project brief. I mean, for the client, we can give it any different name they want, whatever name. In this case, Samer did not give us the name of the output of the stages, so I'll make something up. Okay. That's why I said this meeting is the first iteration. And basically, it goes through the process. Okay, so far?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Let me now.
Munir,
Yeah.
sorry, Munir. So what you just show us is you consider it as a complete project, right? It's a
Yeah, that's
complete
their process for a complete project.
It's a complete project. Okay.
Yeah, that's their process from the idea until the facility is operating, which align with Uruk.
Oh, so operating that include operation readiness as everything. So it's like what we call it the product delivery process, right?
Yeah, the facility is delivered. In this case, the facility is handed over. That is,
Okay.
if we go back to this, is basically step 9. The facility is handed over, and operation moving in, right? So that is technically initial operation. What they don't show here technically is a closure stage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the reason I'm just asking because I didn't read the details, but that's why I just want to have a whole idea. It's the full project life cycle. Okay.
Yeah, basically start with the opportunity and goes all the way until until they moved into their operation. So initial operation.
Okay.
That's what they're showing in their process. Right. Okay.
Munir, one question since
yeah.
What is the closure stage in this case?
They don't have one, so we need one.
What do you consider a closure stage for such a process?
It's usually when we do the closure, an Uruk closure is about there are about 8 steps, 8 things we do in closure. One is to do what we call a reconciliation. One is called lessons learned. One is closing contracts. So if you have any contract you need to close, capture the lessons learned, assess project success. These are the kind of things we do in closure.
Yes, but shouldn't these come in their process, in their way of doing it? Shouldn't these come after they depreciate the asset and stop using it?
No, I mean, okay. If you look at now, you're getting into the discussion about project success. No, closure. Basically, we're not talking about closure of the facility. We're talking about closure of the life cycle. Right. So the work of this project is closed, finished. They finish. They hand it over. The team move on to something else. Right. So usually at that time, at that point in time, we can assess technical success. We can assess. We have to go into that. I mean, I'm just gonna quickly say it right now because that require a discussion of our project success model, right? But technically, we can do at closure in Uruk. We can do the technical success. We can do project management success, right? Objective success will come later,
Yes.
and that could be 2 or 3 years later, or could be at when they close that asset, as you said.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
understood.
I mean, usually we don't want to wait until, especially if an asset is 20 years long, We don't want to wait that long. Maybe we can do it 2-3 years later. So in Uruk, we have what we call actually right now a stage. In my book, I call the closing stage, but in Uruk, we changed the name to PLT closure, because what we close at that case in Uruk is in the project management module of Uruk, we are only closing the life cycle. We are not closing the project yet. The project will be closed by portfolio management.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So if we are okay, let's go now to the platform. And the client, this part of the platform, the client don't see. This is right now, it's only controlled by Uruk. Okay. So the tailored method, there are a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to explain the admin panel right now. Basically, this is the control room for us to control the platform. There are a lot of things in the platform I can control from here. However, what I'm concerned with right now is tailored method builder. And if I look right now, we have a list. And basically, we have 49 methods in. So all these methods that we have built in are here. But I don't want these right now. I want to go to TMB wizard.
Sorry, Munir, where did you get this page? Like only admin, or
admin panel?
Okay.
Yeah. So I go to the tailored method builder wizard. This is a wizard we have. And we have 4 options here. We can create a tailored method from scratch, obviously. We can import a tailored method. So we can import a tailored method and modify it. Okay, if we want to, for example, maybe a client want one of our tailored methods. They're happy with most what you have, but they might have some modification here and there. So in that case, we import it, and then we could edit it and modify it. Or if we are working on tailored method and we didn't finish, we can maybe save and leave, and we come back later. Then we can go back to draft. So today, I'm going to go to the worst case scenario, which is create a tailored method from scratch. So there are steps. This first step is a title. So I'm going to call it BH method, real estate method. Serial number, I'm just going to put the cost 01. Sector, this is capital intensive. Domain, this is, I can say generic. Category, I can say generic. I mean, I can categorize it if I want to, but right now, we need to create what exists for us, either something specific. This is not really an oil and gas project. It's more of, it's a real estate project, actually, sorry. Yeah. And category of the real estate, not applicable. Classification, I'm going to use the large and complex, right? Because these potentially could be a few $1 million. Okay, and then I will say development mode. Is it going to be basically it's going to be agile or traditional? I'm gonna say we call it big bang or incremental. I'm gonna say is a big bang. And number of stages in the implementation stage, based on what I look at their data over here, I assume there are 2 stages. Okay. I mean, obviously, I can explain all of these, but this is based on my understanding of what they sent. Operation mode, this is include operation readiness, code, open, description. This method is for BH real estate. That's enough. Do I want to waive a sponsor role? I can click here. No, I want to keep a sponsor role for the time being. I don't know if they want to waive it, but for me right now, I want to keep it in. Okay, so that is basically, we are right now still at a very high level, just figuring out the type of the method. Question?
What is the waive a sponsor role? Like this
If
is
I
when
don't want to sponsor.
Yeah, that's like stage gates and everything, right?
That means
like
the stage gate will be approved by the PM.
But what about, we are just building the teller
I have to
method
decide
now.
that,
Do
right?
we need this? Yeah, okay.
We have to know. I mean, does
Okay.
this method include the sponsor or doesn't include the sponsor?
Okay.
Other question? Okay, next step. Number of phases, I'm gonna say 3. Choose the phases. I'm gonna call them here discovery phase. The next one is not allowing me to change name. Let's see. Let me just use our name right now. And delivery phase. Let me see if I can do it later. Okay. Enter the number of stages. They are showing 9. I'm gonna show 10, right? Because they did not have a closed stage. So I'm gonna put 10 stages. Okay. Next up, detail stage 1 detail, the name of the stage and which phase it belonged to. They call it opportunity. And it is in the discovery phase. The next one, they call it define. Now notice they didn't tell me where to put it in which phase, but this is my assumption based on my understanding. Obviously, if we were sitting with them right now, we will be doing this with them and we'll be able to ask questions. So obviously it will take longer. Number 3, they call it market. And I see that is in the development. And actually, could be in between, but right now, let me show it here. Then we have shortlist. Sorry, I have to do the typing while you guys with me. Stage 5 is business case. And that's also development. And stage 6 is a process approval. And that is also development phase. Then we have transact. And that now we are starting to get into delivery based on my understanding of what I read. Then we have build. And that's also delivery. And stage 9 is for the move. And that's also delivery. And then I have my own stage, PLC closure. And that's delivery. Right? Question here?
Just a comment, Munir. Stage 4 has a typo in it. Maybe we can fix it.
Okay. That's it. Anything else?
No, if you want to capitalize it, it will be like every
Oh, yeah.
other.
Sorry. By the way, Ahmed, this is what we will be using in a meeting with Samer and his team.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, so this is real work. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're catching these things. So yeah. Okay. This is a new feature that we added. I have not tested yet. You know what? I'm going to say check all. This feature is basically, we have a lot of performance chart. And we are adding, so far we have about 33 performance chart. And basically the idea here is that maybe some clients do not want to have all of these performance chart. So when we are building the tailor, and so instead of all these charts keep coming up for them and they're not using them, when we are building the tailored method, we can tell them, okay, guys, which of these charts you want? And of course, I need to show them an example of these chart. And then basically with that case, is that, sorry, just give me some library of charts. Because I'm writing note for enhancement as we go through this. In that case, we ask the client, we show them the charts and said, okay, which one of these you want or you don't want. And we can select So at least whatever we select, they will be with that tailored method. They will, whenever we have a project that's using that tailored method, they will get the same type of chart. Okay.
Are these do these charts affect the price?
No, they're part of the performance management of the platform.
Okay. Do they have a way of selecting which ones they need and changing that selection later, or they have to come back to us?
They, in that specific method, right now, we debated a long time ago whether the tailored method builder will be given to a client and charge extra for it. However, what we realize is that most clients would want to do the tailored method maybe once. They don't need to keep doing it, right? So they don't have to pay extra every month for something they might need every once in a while. So at this time, we decided to keep it with us. So if they want to modify a tailored method, they will have to come back to us.
Yes, I understand this fully. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the charts, only the charts. Can we
No, the chart, they cannot
select the charts that they need if they, for example, need another type of chart for whatever project?
Those will be we are building a chart inside the system. They can use them all or use some of them. And that is where they can decide whether they want to use them all or some of them. If they want us to build additional charts, that will become something that would require maybe getting the development team involved.
Again, when you're, I'm sorry, but my question is related to those charts in front of us.
Yeah, those specific chart. Okay.
Let's say they chose 10 of them. Okay.
Yes.
Now, after working on Uruk for a year or a few months, they realize they need more charts. What can they do in this case?
We just come back
from this list, not like
sorry?
New charts. They want more charts from this list, not new charts that don't exist.
Yeah, I understand. We go back and edit the tailored method for them.
Okay, is it worth doing this way? Can't they have just, for example, a chart selection page where they choose the charts that they want and comes up automatically?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. We can give the functionality to the admin, right? But we did not want to make it as a functionality for every project manager to decide on their own, because that defeats the idea of governance, right? So if an organization, they want to change the chart they want to have on their project, at this time today, the only possibility is for us to go in and edit the tailored method. So we can take their existing, and which could be 5-minute exercise, right? Let's say they've only selected 10 of these. Then we come back and said, okay, I'm going to pick up this tailored method that we built already for them, and they are using it. And I will go in and then just edit it to add the additional chart they want. Right now, that's the only way we can do it. We have not done a functionality where they can decide themselves.
Okay.
We can do that. We can do that but we will give it to the admin in that case, not to every project manager.
Yeah, obviously. This is something.
Nada, hang on. Let me write it as a note, because that might be an idea.
I'm just trying to minimize our involvement as, the involvement of our team with their work. If it's something that's already there and doesn't need any development, let them do it. Why we do it for them?
The idea, because I mean, technically, we did not want to give them the tailored method builder, because they might be a lot of training involved with that, right?
No, definitely not. Tailored method, as you mentioned, they're not going to change their method. Maybe once every 10 years. But the charts, I mean, they are more of visibility tools to make help them decide or help them understand what's going on. So they can.
Correct. Yeah, that's fine. I add it as a note. I mean, that could be a feature enhancement, but right now it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Okay.
Nada?
Yeah, I was asking when you said when we can edit the Taylor method, can we edit a live Taylor method? Like, let's say the people are halfway of using the Taylor method, that the one was created for them. Can we edit a live one that's already have all the data, and it will activate anything that we are updating? Or I'm assuming the editing Taylor method that we go back to scratch, and all our data have to be re-entered again to the system.
No.
Am I right?
No, they don't have to re-enter. The data is there, right? On a project, on an active project, the data is there. If you want to edit a tailored method, basically all the new project will be able to choose that selecting candidate. The existing project will continue on the tailored method they selected when they started.
Okay, that's
So
mean we
changing
cannot
tailored
edit.
method will not affect that doesn't delete the data. And I mean, obviously, what we can do always basically to avoid any confusion, we can edit the tailored method, or we can basically change the name on it as well.
But you're saying, like, let's say for this tailor method, the one that you are building now, we decided to go only instead the whole select all the charts that you know that you selected. We selected only half of them, and in the middle at the mid of the project, they decided to add the remaining. Do they? We go back to the same like. We're gonna be selecting the edit selection button when you showed us the option that we have. So we will go and edit the pH designed
Yeah, we added the
one, the
tailored
one that,
method. Yeah, that doesn't
yeah.
affect ongoing project.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the design feature we have to do, is that editing active method does not affect ongoing projects.
Okay, that's what I want to understand.
Yeah, because we want. I mean, the problem is with the chart, it's easy. If they just decided to show the other chart, that might be easy. That might be a feature. If we do it with the client admin, as Ahmed was suggesting, that might be easy. But starting to change the tailored method where we add stages or delete stages, and the project is already in progress, it will create a mess, and it basically probably not the system will crash. The project data will be lost. I mean, it will be confusing. So we'll have to make sure that any changes to an existing tailored method does not, the way we were working before, it always affect the new project, doesn't affect the ongoing project.
Okay.
Munir, on that point, I want to suggest something. Now we don't have many customers. Effectively, we don't have customers, and we don't have many tailored methods. But in the future, hopefully, we'll have many customers, and probably we'll have many tailored methods as well.
Correct.
And this is all under the control of our administrator, right?
Correct.
Okay, so people make mistakes, and at some point in time, maybe the administrator will be changing a tailored method, and he will change the wrong tailored method, or she will change the wrong tailored method, and then we'll get in trouble with the customer. I suggest that we implement a lock on tailored methods. So once a tailored method is done and approved, we lock it. It cannot be changed by the administrator unless he gets approval, or they get approval from somebody else, maybe from you or operations manager or whatever in Uruk. So nobody can change a tailored method by mistake, because this will cost us a lot if we change a running tailored method with a customer without them knowing.
Yes. Basically, as I mentioned, there's control two different ways here. One is that right now I'm the only one who have access to this. Second is that once a tailored method is active, right, on a project, somebody is using a tailored method on a project, even if we change that tailored method, it doesn't affect the ongoing project.
Yeah, but it will affect future projects.
So it will be a new tailored method. There will be, I mean, the reason we want to modify an existing method, because based on feedback and information that method need to have to be improved. It could be as little as a typo change. Maybe we have some typo or some spelling errors, or it could be where we're modifying the stages, as long as that method is still in use for the future project, it doesn't matter.
Yes, well, my point
Otherwise,
is,
every time we want to change a typo because of a typo or something, we have to create a new tailored method.
No. I'm saying for any tailored method that is already implemented, we lock it so that nobody can change it until they get the proper approval.
And right now, nobody can change it except me.
Yes, but you are the administrator. At some point in time, you will not be the administrator. Somebody else will.
Yeah, correct. I understand what you're saying.
It's just a way to prevent problems. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comment, question?
No, all clear.
Okay. So right now, we built just general setting. Now we go into the Taylor method, and notice now the stages are here, right? So if I want to edit what we've done, I will go back to setting, and I can go back and edit. Maybe the title, the information, whatever the case might be. So that's from the top. I can see the life cycle. You see, this is that's what I want to do this. Oh, because we have not built it yet. Let's see, we only built the discovery. But no, we should see stages.
Yes, we put the stages, all of them.
Let's see when we do it.
Are they clickable, Munir? Can you click on discovery phase?
You on the image, yeah, nothing.
No, right now it should be, but it's not yet. Let me see. Okay. I put it as a note for myself. So basically now you have the 9 stages here. Now, if I made a mistake, I decide to switch stages, switch order. I can obviously always do that. I can basically drag. Okay. And now I can go in and say, okay, if I go into the setting of the PLC, this is a discovery phase. This is an opportunity stage. The deliverable title, I can put the title, let's call it project brief. Right. And their PLC stage size, this is why maybe we haven't done these yet. Okay, medium. Okay. Let me just do one. In which row? 1. Does it have interim gate? No. Let me just say that's enough for now. Does it show now? You see it start to show. Okay. Right. So because I'm still building. Yeah, we added the name, but we have not decided on the one. Okay. Let me, I can do this for all of them. So this is define. This is define, let's call it definition document. I have no idea what they want to call it. PLC size medium. This is the bar length, how long the bar is short, and it is on row 1. And does it have interim gate? I'm gonna, I mean, obviously we don't have a lot of time to explain everything. I will come back and explain some of them, right? You see now, we are actually showing, let me just to show you something as well. Just to, if I do this, and I want to show this, let's say, market assessment, and that show you large, and I'm gonna say it's on row 2, right? Just to show you an example of how things would look like. I didn't show it. Why? Why did it show it as a row 2? I'll deal with the guides. Okay, so now let's say, basically this is one way. I'm not gonna go through the whole process with you guys. I will do it later. I will do, I mean, on my own. But I just want to show you as an example. Now what, I forget what this arrow is for. Okay. So now let's say this stage, what they call opportunity stage, is very similar to our concept stage. And I don't want to enter everything. To save myself time, I can go and import. Let's say from large, complex, BD2, this is more or less. And I want to basically get the concept stage, import the stage. Okay. Now, if you click on it, notice it imported the concept stage and the project brief. Okay. and let me delete it. Done. So now I have nothing, or I can create my own. I can go and say, okay, add a deliverable, create deliverable. Okay, I can import a deliverable, or I can create a deliverable name, whatever. No, let me actually be clear. Right? And I can create a deliverable. And then I want to add a stage gate. And done. So now I have save as draft. Right? So now I have, let me see. Yeah, I have a discovery. I have the concept stage. And because why did it? Because I think I imported it. Anyway, let me forget it for now. Done. Now let me now go into here and said, okay, I have the project brief, right? And this is empty, doesn't have anything right now, right? So if I go to what Samer sent me, and Samer sent something like, would say who, right? Okay. Add a question, and he said, where? Add a question, and he said, basically why, etc. Right? So I can start adding the question here. Now, of course, I just wrote who, where, and why. I can have a statement, and the type. I did not decide the type for these, right? So I can decide the type is a text, is a radio button, is a text area. So now I have a text area, and let's say this one is also a text area, and this one is a text area, right? So now I have, let's say, 3 questions here. Each one is in the text area. Is it a title? No, it's actually a question. Is this a PLC selection question? That's why I need instruction here. I keep forgetting about this. Okay. Can the question have a task assigned? Yes or no? So if I click, now I can assign task to it, or I can link it to task. Again, unless you guys know the how the platform works right now, some of this might be like I'm speaking in foreign language for you. Does it have a redirect button? Yes or no? And then I'll have to say direct to where, cost management, for example. Does it have a coach message? And say yes. And the coach message is basically, okay, and done. Right. So now I have a project brief, have 3 questions, and I've decided on what to include in each one of them. Now, of course, if I imported the Uruk project brief, it will import as is, and I can go modify it as well. So that's done. If I go to the stage gate, and then basically I can put the stage gate title, PB approval, okay? And what does it do? There are a lot of things here that talk about governance and control. Again, this is require a lot of explanation, but basically, like for example, unlock E2 meaning unlock estimate 2, unlock E3, unlock estimate 3, unlock success criteria, because there are a lot of functions that we have in the system. They are controlled by the gates, right? So here, basically approving this gate, it tells us what could happen on the tailored method. Okay, with me guys still?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the PB, Munir? Short for what?
Sorry, which one?
PB. PB approval. PB
Project brief.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I called it. I don't know what they're gonna call it. They call it whatever they want. I call it in Uruk. We call it project brief. So stage gate 1 is project brief approval. Yeah, and basically it tells me what can happen, because remember every gate. For example, notice here, create actual, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's good. The guys are including Uruk coaches for me on some of these. Okay. I have to go through it all. This field is checked if the approval of this stage will create the additional actual question, the cost and schedule. So this is basically, I should not be clicking this until I'm in the PLC closure stage.
Okay, then why is it optional here? Shouldn't it be grade?
Because I don't know if this stage is a closure or not. Remember, I mean, right now, every stage gate have all the same thing with it. The system doesn't know. I mean, right now, the system doesn't know if this is the closure stage or this is the first stage.
Is it the closure you mean for the
PLC closure, right? At the end. This one, this stage.
The system can easily know that, no? If it's inside the PLC.
I mean, if we want to put a lot of automation in the system, correct? Yes. I mean, they would know if I'm in the middle or in between or whatever. They know, for example, yeah. I mean, this is something we can do. I can ask the guys to do it. We didn't. I mean, we didn't do it because we left.
Can come in improvements later.
Yeah. I mean, because this is where we build it. Basically, we're putting everything in here, right? But Ahmed, it become too. I mean, what you're saying there, it becomes too huge of a development effort that doesn't add a lot of value. Like, for example, unlock A2, right?
Mm-hmm.
If A2 has been unlocked already before, okay, then I will have to, I will need to get the system to know that and to eliminate that question. It becomes too dynamic. Yeah,
I understand that, Mir, but you see, I used to work on these things. When I used to do web development, my specialty was developing administrative panels.
Yeah.
And the reason why not only me, like panel developers go into a lot of automation on the panel and dynamic inputs is to prevent any possible errors. Because sometimes error can cause a lot of problems. So let's say, for example, the administrator here made a mistake and chose create actual and it shouldn't be chosen. What will happen then? You see what I mean? It's just
no. I understand. I understand what you mean. This is why we need to train people on how to do this until we have a chance to significantly improve this. Right now, we built this. We have not tested it yet. We have not used it yet.
I understand.
I agree 100% with you. The more we've done a lot of dynamic functionalities already, right? But not everything is automated.
Fine. This will come with time.
Just, I mean, obviously a lot of this, but just become what I'm saying here. Some of this can become quite complicated because remember, some project they could have 3 stages. Some project could have 10 stages. Some project could have 5 stages. So that we have too many cases to consider.
Yes.
Right. And I did not want to go that route yet.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we don't need them now for later.
Yeah.
Munir, a question. Can we consider, just an idea, like instead of, I understand, what you're talking, like in this stage, we might have to unlock the estimate, all these details that we have them, that we can select. Would you consider, instead of having these options in every single stage gate, we can combine them in one phase? Like, for example, when we're done with the first phase, then like we definitely have to go with a stage name and a stage title, but we don't give this option until the end of the phase, where we open all the stage gates that we created in one phase, and we give the client the option. Where would you like to unlock the estimate to? Where would you like to from this? For example, if we have 3 stage gate in one phase, we would give them this option to do it at the end of the phase.
Neda, back for a second, right? Remember, the client is not doing this. We are doing this.
No, yeah, I mean, when we discuss it with them, instead of having, like, because when we create another stage gate for the same phase, we will have the same selected option. Maybe the client at this moment, he's not sure if this is something we can do now, maybe when he had the full picture, he said, let's go back to the stage gates, this options, and start opening and locking and allowing what we consider, at least when we see the phases, we're moving from different phases and we have all the stages, and then we give this opportunity to unlock or decide this is too early, that might happen later. What I'm trying to say is, instead of confusing and maybe the automations that Ahmed said that it's not going to be applicable now, but we can have these options later in the project where we have it more in one page. Okay, these are the stage gates that we have, and these are the options. Where would you like us to unlock it for you or
Okay.
select?
Let's back up and talk about as an onboarding consultant.
Yeah.
Right? When as an
Yeah.
onboarding consultant, I'm not going to go sit down with the client and start populating this.
Okay.
Right? Remember, we have many questions
That's
that
true.
we include on spreadsheet that we have for tailoring, right? We have those questions there. We need to maybe modify them, and that's part of your onboarding project, right?
Okay.
So basically, there are things that we need to do. Second, when we sit down with the client, we draw the process first on the board, like what in this case Samar is giving us. Third, I'm not checking any of this right now, right? I mean, technically speaking, until we approve the tailored method and put it into use, we're still working on it. And this is why we said that typically building a tailored method for client could take any time from few hours to few days, right? Because it's not something I can do initially. Notice what we've done first. First, we've done, we draw the PLC. We setting that, okay, this is a tailored method. These are the phases. These are the stages. That's the high level one. And now we go through every stage. And the first thing we can do, we can decide, okay, every stage need to have one deliverable and one gate, or maybe maybe two deliverable, maybe three deliverable. It's up to the client to decide what they want to do, how many deliverables they want to put in every stage, right? And there should be a gate. Every stage should have a gate. So we designed this piece of it, right? I don't even have to design the question, right? Notice because I did not put the question initially. I just can put this. And I can do that for the whole. I can come down here, say, okay, I want one deliverable, and I want to create a deliverable. I'm going to call it whatever, create a deliverable, and I'm going to create a stage gate, and I'm done. So all what I've done in this case is created a stage gate and a deliverable. Or in this case, I want to add another deliverable, and I'm going to call it as well. And I'm going to put it before the gate. Okay, so I'm creating on this stage, I'm creating two deliverables and a gate, and I'm done. And I go to stage 3 and I do the same. And I go to stage 4 and I do the same until I'm done with all of them. Then I come back and said, okay, now in this, what question do you want to have? Okay, and obviously, if their question similar to something we have, we can import it, remember? For example, if it's a requirement document, I can import the requirement document. If it is a detailed plan, I can import the detailed plan. I will import it, or I will build it from scratch. Okay. Yeah. And then I will say done. And then I will go to the next one and I do the same. And then we can go in and let's say, not this one, the stage gate, right? Because many of the questions were on the stage gate. I can come back in the stage gate, said, okay, how many estimate the client have? Maybe the client have only one estimate. Right? Yeah. And then I don't need unlock 2 and unlock 3. Okay. Basically, so we can come back and doing. So we're not doing everything in one shot, and that require a lot of interfaces and discussion with the client. Now, the more we are prepared during the onboarding, and we know, for example, many of the questions we have here, we already have them on some kind of a document that we can do it through an interview process with the client that will speed up the work on the platform, right? So we can do it both ways. We can get a lot of these questions answered on paper, on a flip chart, on board, and then enter everything here, or we can do it live. If I am sitting with a client inside an office, I could be doing this live. And as we draw on the board, and I could have somebody, a technician working with me, just entering the data, and then we are doing on the board. So there is no one way of doing this with the client, right? And then once we are finished, we can say it's finished, and then we put it into use. Maybe we test it on a pilot, and if everything works well, then we approve it and it become a tailored method ready for the client.
It's good.
So the
One
tailored
of the
method building is not something we can do, I mean, in 1 hour, right? Unless I
no,
am
it's
copying and pasting. I am copying an existing method and making only minor modification.
and it's a good point what you showed us, that we can go back and we can make the first structure of it, and then we go back and work on details, which is good.
Let me save as draft. Let me go back to the tailored method builder. And let me say, show you, for example, I want to edit a tailored method. And I want to edit, let's say, this one. All right. Now here you can see it, right? So we have many questions. And notice these are questions. These have Uruk coaches. These have task linked to them, right? And then say back. If I go to the gate, and this one doesn't have anything checked. Okay, so back. Let me go to this one. And notice here we have a check, right? We're saying lock the estimate. So we're locking an estimate in this case. Okay. And back. If I go to this one, let's see, is there anything here? Yeah, in this case, I'm saying unlock E3 because this is stage gate 4. I want to unlock E3, and when I'm done, I will lock the estimate. And if I go to closure, this doesn't have anything to check. Say something here. Here we say unlock success assessment. Okay. And over here, do we have anything? That doesn't have. Right. And let's say this one. Yeah, this one have like 15 questions. Okay. Any other question?
Munir, how come when you selected one of the existing tailor method that we have and you edited, you didn't have to put it save as a new title with a new name? You just went to the
Because
existing.
I am editing an existing method. I'm not importing an existing method. I'm
you
not
just
building
edit.
a new import tailored method. Okay. I will select tailored method. And I can
So-
go to the setting here and I can change the name.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Because we were not gonna keep editing different ones and changing the setup
No,
or whatever.
remember, editing, I'm editing an existing method. That means that method is still there.
Yeah.
And I'm only editing. Technically, right now, what I need to do, okay, and I wish if I have someone who can do it for me, is that I want to go through all the tailored method we built and edit them to make sure they are perfect to the way we want them. Right. And that right now, that is because right now we build a lot of copy paste stuff. So this is definitely an area of enhancement to rebuild all these tailored methods. Not to build, to re-edit them. So basically, instead of creating a new one, I go through this existing one and I will edit every one of them. And maybe the edit will be minor, or maybe there is no edit necessary. So this is one task we have to do. So editing an existing one, that means the tailored method still there as is, it's being edited only. And if I want to create a new tailored method, I can create one from scratch, or I can import one and modify it. Right? So these are to make it easier for me. Instead of starting from scratch, I can just import one and do some modification to it under a new name, because now I am creating a new tailored method based on something that exists. Other question?
So, Munir, if a client have an existing deliverables with the questions, can we import the information, or we have to type it in?
I mean, right
If
now
they
they
have it
have
in
it.
a,
I don't have a way of importing a document from the client and map it to the process. I'll have to manually enter it.
okay.
I mean, it could be copy paste. I mean, if they have it as a Word document, we just copy paste. But it doesn't right now. It doesn't have the functionality of importing an existing document and put it in here.
What about if the client have any tools, like any Excel sheets that they are using? Do we have it? Do we put it in the during this process too, like when we are building the tailor method, or we have it in the deliverables attached document?
Every deliverable, remember, it has
The attachment, you
that
can
have the ability to
upload.
include attachment, right?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
where we do it, right? It will be,
If
they
they have
will be
Excel
like,
file, I mean, the idea is that Excel or Word document or PowerPoint or whatever the case might be, if they want to import file, they can import files, right?
mm. So the tailor method also will include any of the branding things for their own company. Would they like to put their logos or anything? Is there something
No,
we
not on
do
the
that?
tailor method. Their logo will be on their account.
So that's not here. It's
No, there is no tailoring of the tailor method. They are not. I mean, they're not branded, right?
Mhm.
The brand is when they open an account. When they open it in their account, their account will have their own brand, right? And the tailor method, just the tailor. There is no branding on. There is no need to brand anything on the tailor method anywhere.
What about also if they have this document as a private or confidential document, and they will have, eventually in the deliverable, they will be print out this outcome of this deliverables with this sensitive
No, that's the
information.
reporting. And the reporting, they have the ability to. We added a feature to basically to decide on how they want to brand their reports. So for reports, they have the capability of branding the report, but for deliverable, there is no branding on the deliverable so far. There is a feature now is in part of the admin action where they can set up their report. So basically, if they want to generate report from the system, they can use, they can decide on their headers, their footers, their logos, all of that. And the admin, this is an admin action, and that becomes the standard for all the reports. So they do it once, and all the reports they will be branded. But we did not implement branding on deliverables.
And all the functionality that we have in the deliverables, when we have an existing tailor method, they will have it like you showed us that you can have a text, bullets, insert images, everything, like all this functionality is there.
When you choose text area, right? It's tiny MC editor. This will be like what you're seeing right now. I mean, right now you cannot create graphics on the platform, but you can import graphics, right? You can upload images.
Yeah,
that's the same features. Same feature as it is today. I mean, this is here. This is a back end. You can see this is the project brief, right? So you can see the problem opportunity, right? And you see, for example, notice because we added these recently, they don't have Uruk coaches on them. So one part of editing this, I need to add a Uruk coach for the first question and the second question. So I don't have to go back to the team right now to create an Uruk coach for me. I can do it from here. Yeah, and later, because we have videos, I can also have an ability to get them to add to me here, the ability to add videos. Okay.
And of course, the functionality, all the functions area, which is we have the cost and scope and schedule, everything.
Those are not tailorable. Those are not tailorable.
No, so it's in the system, like, and
Yeah, right now the PM functions and action are not tailorable. Tailorable only for the PLC method. Any other question on these guys?
Are we going to complete the whole process or just a sample of it?
Sorry?
Are we going to complete the whole process of the mapping or just this?
Yeah, I will have to do it. I'll have to do it before we meet with Samer. So whenever we have to meet with Samer, I will have to do this.
Okay.
It might not be perfect because, I mean, obviously, if we're discovering some node, like right now, name of phases, but it definitely will be more than enough to show that how it can be tailored for their needs.
Correct. This is the first meeting, and we're just showing that we can do it. The details will come later.
Yeah.
So before we meet Samer, I would appreciate if we can go back to my question after you finish, because maybe if you show it to me, I will not have the question anymore regarding BPM versus in this case. So after you finish the training, maybe.
No, I mean, Ahmed, I don't know. I mean, technically, a tailored method is a process.
Yes. That's what my question is not related to the method itself. My question is more of more of a software question. We have Uruk.
Yeah.
It's a full PLC.
We lost you.
No, I'm saying Uruk is a full PLC solution.
It's full project management. At this time, full project management solution, and later will be portfolio management as well. Yeah.
Now, their process, till now, what I'm seeing of their process, maybe I'm missing something, but what I'm seeing is they can easily implement it in a BPM solution. So I'm just asking the question between us now before somebody from their side asks it. I don't know if somebody will ask
it. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, let me ask you a question here. A typical BPM process, does it have all the stage deliverable and the stage gate and the stage gate decision criteria?
They can. BPM is extremely customizable. They can create a process that contains all of this, yes. Now, generally speaking, the advantage of Uruk is that it has everything built in and tailored to a project management life cycle.
Okay.
They don't have to recreate everything from scratch.
Okay.
But what I'm seeing their process as still now, I'm not seeing it as a full project. It's just a series of decisions that ends with buy or not, then deliver to the operation.
No, they do design. They will have to buy land. They will build. They will construct the facility.
No,
they hire contractors.
Okay, but will they manage the construction and the contractors?
Yeah. If you go to the detail, you can see basically.
Very minor.
No. I mean, I know they don't have a lot of detail, right? But basically, you're talking about.
You're talking about phase 8, right?
No, all of it. Every stage, there is somebody leading the work. I mean, actually, even the define is initiated by the construction project manager, right? The real estate construction project manager, and you have a portfolio manager. I think Samer is a portfolio manager, and then you have the program manager, and you have the project control and finance, and you have the real estate portfolio manager. And then in the building, you have the construction project manager. Although some of these could be outsourced, right?
I'm okay with all of that, Munir. My question is simple. This whole process is a process of decision making. If you compare
Ahmed, you're confusing me.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I mean, it's basically decision making. It's not. I mean, there is work being done. You make decision and you implement those decisions. It's not just somebody sitting in an office and making decision and that's it. That's so maybe where we disconnect between you and me.
Maybe. Let me just go back, review it again, and then when you finish the mapping, I'll take a look at it, and maybe then I'll have an answer to my question.
Yeah, but let me summarize. Let me clarify. Yeah,
Yes.
a project life cycle is a business process.
Yeah, obviously, I
Yeah,
understand.
I agree with you, and it is a business process. But it is a business process customized to managing projects.
Yes.
Okay, that one part. But what you're not seeing as well in here, and on their process or in the Uruk platform yet, right? There is a cost estimating module. There is a risk module. There is the scheduling module. There is a quality modules.
Mhm.
All of these are inside the platform, and we continue to build and enhance them, right?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, so it's not
It's
just
definitely
basically
an
the
edge
matter
for it.
of a sequence of decision making and process.
Okay, so that answers a lot of my question, a big
Yeah.
part of my question. Now,
Yeah.
the other part goes to the implementation. A project management process contains implementation phase somewhere.
Correct.
Here, I don't see it in their process.
The build part. Go to step 8.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay. Maybe the way they're presenting it seems very minor to me.
No, it's high level. Look, it says sourcing the process, the tender, right? So they are actually going to put the purchase orders and go out
Yes.
and tender and get contract and issue. Then engage designer, engage contractor, EPC, engineering, procurement, construction, landlord to execute and construct.
Mhm.
And then the fit outs, the main installation, the servers, the security.
Yeah. So my point here, unless they are actually managing those,
Yeah, they are managing them, but
that's what I don't see.
managing the contractor who's doing them.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's a contractor. They hire a contractor to do it, and they manage it. Samer and his team, they manage those contractors.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's full project, goes from idea all the way until they basically they hand it over to their internal customer and they move on.
Okay.
Yeah, including construction, engineering, procurement, design. And the only difference in their situation probably than typical facility project for us, right, is that they also acquire the land. So they have a land acquisition component.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's
typically, if I'm working for an Exxon, I usually don't have that, right? Because Exxon would own the land already.
okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but also it's not only the process, but you're absolutely 100% correct in the idea of the similarities, right?
Okay.
A project lifecycle model is a stage gate model, is a business process model, is a decision-making model.
Yes.
Basically, because at every gate we are making decision, and we proceed with decision-making, but with every gate, we're deciding and approving some work to be done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also the modules you mentioned before, the constraints and modules for risk management, for
correct. And later on, the synchronization with the portfolio management.
Yes. Okay, that should answer the question in case it can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have two small comments. First of all, this is internal. The serial number for the tailored method, shouldn't it be automated? Why is it like manual? Because then we will have like different types of serial numbers, and it will be a little bit confusing if we're gonna use them for something.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I remember what I said. There are a lot of things we could automate further, right?
Yes, I'm just
everything you're seeing right now, it's basically its first iteration. They haven't even been fully tested yet. I mean, they've been tested by them, and they've been tested roughly by me. But even you notice today, we discovered some errors. I mean, some not necessarily errors. Somewhat like name of phase is not really an error, but it's an enhancement. I think I already gave them this, but they haven't fixed it yet. So, I from this meeting, I came up with 11 ideas right now for enhancement.
Okay.
I noted down 11 ideas.
Okay. The other thing is before we go to Baker Hughes, we need to test the dashboards in the beginning. What they call them?
The charts.
The charts. Sorry, the charts. Yes, just to make sure they're working because they're all new, right? We didn't test them before.
No, but they will not. No, but I cannot show it to them. I need to show it to them on an existing project.
Okay, fine.
But because you cannot, I mean, those charts need data to produce, right?
Yes.
And if I want to populate, if I take their Taylor method and I need to populate all the data, That takes 2 weeks to work because there are a lot of data to enter, right? So what I will do to show them the performance chart, I will show them an existing project.
Okay, just we need to make sure that every chart we are going to show them is working.
Yeah. I have already one project I did, a software project I did. I have that one actually a real project, one of the project I did in Uruk, and I have all the performance chart for that built in already and available to show.
Okay, the last thing that we might even need to show them, or that might come up with the discussion, is that if you remember, we talked earlier when we were still designing Uruk about protected tailored methods, where a customer will provide us with their method that we will introduce to Uruk as a tailored method, but it's still their method. They don't want anybody else to use it, or they want royalty on it or whatever. Did this get implemented in Uruk? Because maybe they will ask about this. Maybe I don't know, honestly. But if they will say this is our process, we don't want anybody to use it.
Yeah. We can make it. I mean, basically, we can. This is one of the feature we're talking about right now with them, is what tailored method to show to a client.
What do you mean?
No, for example, you have your question is really actually two questions and directly. Like one situation, if a client have their own tailored methods, when they log into the system, do we want to show them all the tailored method on only theirs? That's one idea, right?
I mean, that's easy to decide on. We can decide.
Yeah, that's one. But that's one side of that question, right? We need to decide whether we be able to show them all the tailored method, including theirs, or only theirs, right? And the second one is that if their tailored method not to be shown for others.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, because they are customer
that might be most concerning for them.
Yeah, of course.
They regard their method as a industry secret or something. I don't know.
Yes, of course. Those will not. This is why when we work with the client, we need to agree whether what they have is something really confidential and that's theirs and nobody else wants to see it, or basically we can work with them to create a tailored method for them that could be generic. Like, for example, if I want to work with a legal company to do a legal project management, right? In this case, we need to agree with them that are we doing something tailored for them specifically, or are we using a tailored method that other company can use, right? And that will be part of the discussion when we are talking with client.
Yeah, the question that will come then, what are we doing technically in Uruk to prevent their method, if it is protected, from being displayed or shown to other customers?
No, because not all tailored methods are displayed automatically. We control what to be displayed. And I need to make sure. Right now. I put it at now action item number 12 to make sure that any proprietary tailored method is locked and doesn't show except to a specific client.
Yes, that if this came up, that will be their question. So
yeah. I mean, I will definitely know that we need to, even if it doesn't come up, we need to do it.
Yes. But
because I mean, some clients, sure, they were going to have their own proprietary. Most likely at the highest level, there's nothing proprietary about it, right? In the detail, there are, which is fine. In that case, we basically, what we can do, we could create something similar, but we don't use their detail, and that part of the confidentiality we have to protect.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but I add it as well, just to make sure, so it's not forgotten.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not for
Yeah, I have questions.
Yeah.
Let's say we finish the tailored method after you complete the whole life cycle that you wanted to create and finish. Then let's say we go and now the client will log into Uruk platform, and they will have their password, everything, and they will log in. And once they are in, I'm assuming they're not going to see this question that you will be having at the beginning when you are like when a first user is using Uruk platform, going into selecting the tailored method and all the questions that comes after it. So if Baker Hughes have the tailored method designed and they logged into the system, they will go straight to select your project and give a title of your project, and like the options of selecting the tailor method, everything. The only thing will pop up to them is their design tailored method, right? What I'm asking
Not
is
100%, because most likely a client could have more than one tailored method. So they still have to select the tailored method. So they still have to go to the tailored method selection and select the tailored method.
But they do have their own, right? That we designed it for them. They will
Yeah, but
find
they
it
could
one of
have
the drop menu.
more than one, Nada. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about the one that we're talking about, this exercise.
No, this exercise,
specific-
it will be one tailored method right now. This will be like number 50 in our system.
Yeah, understand. And then when the customer get into the system, now we have the client, you tailor it for him, and now he's going to the system to start working on, to see what we have developed, the tailored method that it's been designed for him. So we go to the system, we log in, he have the admin, he have the project sponsor, project managers, and let's say they will log into either the sponsor or project manager, and logged in and gonna see the same image, same sequence.
They're not going to
Selecting
see anything. They're not going to see anything. Somebody need to go into the system like we do now. Somebody will
Yeah.
need to go to set up a project.
Okay.
So they need to go through the process of setting up a project, same as today.
Yeah.
Okay. They set up a project. The project need to be activated.
Right.
And then after activation, they need to select a tailored method.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
if the agreement with the client, they want to only see their own tailored methods.
Yeah.
Then tailored method selection will be limited to them, and they will only see the tailored method we built for them. They could be 1, 2, 3, or 4,
Okay.
or 5, or 10. I don't know. Depend how many tailored methods we built for a client, right? Now, if they only have one tailored method and they haven't built anything else, right? Then the tailored method selection will be automatically selected.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to ask. This
Yeah,
is
but
what,
I mean, most 99% of the time, we will have more than one tailored method for a client. They could be similar because, depend on size. They could have a small project and could have large and complex project.
No,
right?
I'm just talking about this exercise per se. I'm just saying I'm trying to imagine what's going to be next. Like we designed this tailor method. What is how is the customer be using it by like going into Uruk
If
platform
we have a
as
customer and we have built really this tailored method for that customer,
yeah,
and the customer only want to see their tailored method in the system, after activation, the project manager will only see the tailored method for his or her company.
yeah.
And if there's only one method, there is only one method. If they have 3 methods, they will select one of those 3 methods. The same process we have today. The difference is, instead of going through selecting one method out of 50, they're selecting maybe one method out of 3. And then they move on to the next step and they continue with the project.
Yeah, that's clear. That's one question. Now I have another question. And Munir, when you're going to be working on showing Samir the charts, like you mentioned, can we have a screenshot of these charts and save them in the knowledge portal as one of the documents as
Which
a
shot?
reference?
Sorry, which one?
The chart, the dashboard charts, like what Ahmed was asking you, can we activate the charts? Or you told him that you will have to have a real project and you will be showing the different charts.
Yeah.
From an active project. Can we have a screenshot of these charts and save them in a document, and PDF document, where we can show this is for, like we can keep it in the knowledge portal as a reference. If we want to show, somebody what's
we already have one action item already. This is for Sumer. All the performance chart we are generating right now, for example, all PLCs, all tailored method have PLCs.
Yeah.
All those tailored methods right now are in the system.
Yeah.
Okay, in the admin panel. They are not in the platform. They are in the admin panel, right? So we have all those images, the PLC images. They are stored in the library already.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing for the chart. All the chart we are producing, we will store them also in a library.
Yeah.
But there have to be a dummy chart.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I cannot show a real data for a client unless, of course, I mean, later on, as we generate more ourselves, we can show some chart ourselves. So
And
we
you're
will have a
saying
library of charts. We will have that.
so.
This that's already
Yeah.
available technically, but I mean, I will. Sumar will have an action for this. So yeah, I mean, the chart will be there, but to have them in the knowledge portal is not. I mean, sure that we can put them in as guide.
Yeah.
But the importance is not to put them in the importance is to have them in a library. So when we are meeting with the client during onboarding, and then I have all these charts and I'm asking the client to select which each chart, I will have to show them example of all these charts so they can say,
Yeah.
yes, I want this. No, I don't want that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll have that will be in a library of charts.
Oh, okay.
And the PLC
So
library as well. There will be a PLC library as well.
great. Okay. And one more thing, I'm not sure what you decided, you and Ahmed, if you're gonna have a meeting with Ahmed alone before you present your tailor method build that you're gonna be building for the client. If you're gonna meet with him first alone or with Samir. My question, if I can either attend your meeting with Ahmed, I'd like to see how it looked like, and if there are any clarification or any questions, I would like to also attend this meeting with you and Ahmed. Or I'm not sure if you think it's a good idea for me just to see the interaction between you and the client when you are presenting a tailor method.
That's fine. I will not be meeting probably with Ahmed before because, you know, it is. I mean, just another meeting. So most
Yeah.
likely I will not be meeting with Ahmed. We'll meet directly with Samer and his team. And yeah, sure. I mean, Ahmed, you know, Ahmed is managing this, so you can
Yeah.
invite Nada.
Yeah, that would be great. I would like to hear the interactions and the communications with
But
the
be
client.
careful because the meetings, because the guys are all over the world, the meeting time could be weird.
Sure, it's not a problem. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
if I can attend, will be great. It's a great opportunity for
That's
me to
fine.
see the interactions with clients
Ahmed,
when you
your
present
action.
the business.
Yes, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank
Actually,
you.
it's good to have Nada as the our onboarding specialist. So she might have questions.
There will be more than one meeting with Baker Hughes if this happens. So because the first meeting will be more of a general meeting with Samer, and then maybe if they want to proceed, they will go another meeting with executive. And then if they approve, then we will have to go through the onboarding process. And maybe, I mean, redesign, because this is right now what I'm doing something very quick, just to show something that the guys are familiar with. That's the whole purpose of this exercise, is to show them when we log in and we show them that we can show them something, terminology they've seen already. So it make it easier to convince.
Yes.
Yeah. Typically, we would not be doing this exercise before, but because it's Samer, I mean, of course, if a client come back and said, you know, if they are willing to give me data like this before, we can do something. But typically, this would happen during onboarding. What I'm doing now would be happening during onboarding. Other question?
It's not a description for like the methods, because they say that we cannot need to do a diagnostic with the potential client to know if maybe there is a method that we already have that is going to be like better for them, or maybe we can tailor a method for them based on one that we already have on the platform. So like, is there like a description, for example, of or categorize categories, categories for each tailor method. So when we do like the onboarding, we will know which one will be fit better the potential client.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if a client does not have a formal process, we can give them the library of methods to choose from, right? And then if they want us to modify something, we can modify it very quickly and become a faster implementation. So that could literally be hours, right? So we have that option. Remember, the option is that if the client have nothing, we have our tailored method. If they want us to build the tailored method for them based on something that exists that we have, we can do that. And if they have their own process, like in this case, right? And many of our larger clients will have something like this, like what Shamer shared with us. We can also map their process, so we can give them a model that it's easy. You see, Maria, one of the biggest problem in project management in something like this, whenever we are introducing a new process, is the resistance to change. So what Samer is trying to do is minimize the resistance to change. If I go in right now and I do a demo based on a generic life cycle from our platform, the guys might say, well, this is not the way we're doing it. And then you will end up spending an hour arguing about, oh, we don't use the speed. So, and maybe they use it, but they have a different name for it. So to minimize that back and forth, okay, we can take their process and build it to them quickly and show them. So they see a different, like, for example, for them, business case is stage 5. And business case is a term in Uruk, I use it at stage 1. So if I tell them, in the concept stage, I will do the business case, I lost them. Right? So that's very important when it comes, because if we use their terminology, okay, it becomes easier. Define stage for them is number 2, for us is number 5. You see, so that's where it's important. If a client have a process like this, is to map their process so we minimize the resistance to change. Right? So that's why this is the beauty of Uruk, right? If they have a process, we can map it to them and we give them, like Ahmed was saying earlier, right? If they want, they can take a BPM solution and they customize it, but probably end up costing them a lot of money and a lot of time. Here, we're telling them, look, give us your process, and within a week, we can give you a digital solution with all the power of all the other modules in Uruk, the cost, the estimate, the schedule, the timesheet, the issue management, all of that built in already, and you have it ready to go within a week, right? And at no extra cost if they have maybe a large number of subscribers. You see, that's one of the beauty of Uruk. And if they don't have anything, they don't have to spend a year to build the PMO. We are give them one of our method that, or maybe a few of our methods that are most similar to what they do, and they can start to use immediately. This is the critical differentiator of Uruk. This is the most important critical differentiator in Uruk. The ease of implementation, right? That a quick implementation with minimal initial investment and highly adaptable and scalable. Okay. And you see now, I mean, and you saw today, I know we did not go through a lot of detail, but technically, I would be, if I was not doing a lot of introduction today, I would have done the life cycle at least today. I would have finished in 1 hour. The life cycle part, right? I could have finished it in 1 hour. And probably, Nada and Ahmed know a little bit more about project management. To do what Samer sent us, definitely I can do it in a day or 2 max. Right. So imagine if a client, if they want to build, by the way, I did not tell this, Nada and Maria. Baker Hughes spent $1 million on something like this and it failed. They already spent $1 million on something like this and it failed. And they use other vendors as well and they fail. So that could be a potential resistance to change because they don't have a good history to share. I mean, they are probably skeptical about anything new. So we have to be very careful here and try to build what we're building for them.
Do we know why they failed, Munir?
Not maybe that's a good idea to have privately with Samer.
Yes, then it will help us at least.
Yeah. Initially, what they've done, they brought in different vendors like PM Web and those. And by the way, I mean, why they failed, because those I was going to say a bad word here. I've heard more than one client complain about PM Web and Plan Web and all of these kind of stuff. It doesn't really give them what they needed. So it didn't work for them. So then finally their management get fed up and decided to build their own. And they spent $1 million. But I don't know why it failed. Yeah.
That's very interesting to know.
Yeah, that would definitely. I think Samer can share some more information because he's been with them for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll ask him.
Yeah. I don't know if you know a little bit about the history of Baker Hughes. Baker Hughes have existed for decades, right?
Yes.
And they were bought by GE a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Samer actually, when he would start working with them, he was with GE.
Okay.
And then when GE was being demolished, right? They resold. They I don't think resold it. They divested it. I guess they kicked it out as its own company again, and it became independent again. But GE bought it. I think they screwed up many things, like what they were screwing up with a lot of other things. Supposedly Jack Welch, you probably know, you like these things. Jack Welch was being promoted for a long time as like the best CEOs probably that ever work on earth, other than Bill Gates and maybe Steve Jobs. And now he's being criticized heavily that he's the guy who destroyed GE.
They're saying, yeah, I read a lot about this. They're saying he destroyed GE because he couldn't actually build his thoughts into other CEOs that will come after him. So when he stopped working with GE, he retired, he left a lot of open questions that nobody could answer.
Not only that, but they're also being heavily criticized for Six Sigma for some reason or another.
Yeah.
And they're saying some executive from GE left to 3M and they're trying to implement Six Sigma with 3M. And it was failing miserably. So finally they kicked those guys out.
Okay.
So a lot of it has to do with because he was although Six Sigma was created by Motorola. Jack Welch is the guy who made it famous and claiming like he saved billions of dollars because of Six Sigma. Mm-hmm. And apparently that is one of supposedly the death of Six Sigma or the failure of Six Sigma. A lot of it attributed to some of related to I don't know. I have not read the case study fully, but from the report I've seen, this is so it's not only the management part, but also the Lean Six Sigma and how they and other things as well. And there are other. I mean, Samer shared with me sometimes some luxury stuff. Like if their CEO when I travel somewhere, he will ensure always take 2 planes with him just in case one plane break down, for example. When these guys get excessive. Yeah. So if one plane break down, he cannot take any commercial flight. He have to have 2 planes flying with him. Worse than president, right? President doesn't do this. So there are a lot of things that I haven't heard all of the stories, but yeah. Anyway,
GE was one of the best companies.
I know. I mean, they get to a point where obviously they were actually reclaiming the U.S. positioning in this kind of technology. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And GE Plastic, they have GE Plastic. It was bought by SABIC. Actually, GE Plastic, when SABIC bought it, probably that's what made SABIC maybe the #1 petrochemical company in the world. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but GE Plastic was bought years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably 10, 15 years ago.
I think now the most successful GE is what they call GE Energy, which is probably a smaller version of GE they're working on.
I'm not sure, yeah, because I know they did GE Financial as well. Anyway, long story.
Yeah.
Let's stay with this, guys. Any other question on this before we shut it down?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
No question.
Maria?
I need to ask the same question again because I kind of
Yeah.
don't have clear. My question was more focused about how do we know which one is the best, like the best method? Like, are we going to have like a protocol because we are going to do like a diagnostic, and I know we have the option to build a tailoring method like from scratch, or we can also use one of the ones that we already have on the platform. So before like going to forward and say like, oh, let's build one from scratch, we should maybe see one that the ones that are already on the platform fit better for the user. So are we going to have like a protocol or like a way to proceed, and we have like any description for like these methods? Like I'm talking from my perspective that I have no work with this kind of like a project management different methods before. So let's say someone who is totally new in like they don't have any methodology at all. How they will know which one is the best method for them, for example?
We have a system. It's called TMS, Tailored Method Selection, right? You've been through it, but you've been through it very quickly with my guidance, so probably you did not see the full power of it, right? The client can go into, after a project is activated, they go through the tailored method selection process. Actually, if you see the video I shared today, the 1-minute video, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, that's what I shared today. Okay. So basically, and I shared also a webinar, an hour, but technically the step one, right now, today, we have 3 options. First, the client can go in and select from the 3 options of sectors. And that's 3 options are technology, our capital project, and general, because we have not done a lot of other tailored method yet. So what we have is really 2 sectors, technology and capital project. And then we have a third category that is catch-all right now, because we obviously, so if a client want to work, let's say, on an event project, okay, obviously it's not a capital project, it's not a technology project, so they will have to select a generic project, general project category, right? And then, and of course, that we need to guide and train the client. Because it's a generic type, right? So they doesn't have customized. In the future, let's say if we create a set of methods for marketing and event management, then we can have another sector said, okay, event and marketing, right? And then they will go select from it. But right now we haven't built anything specific to event or marketing yet. So they'll have to select the generic type. From the generic type, now they will go into the second choice will become size and complexity of the project, right? And we have to provide them some guidance. Is this considered a micro project, small and simple project, medium and moderate, or large and complex project? Again, we have to guide the client. Right now, a client on their own, unless they have seen some explanation, they would not know what to select. We will have to help them select. And then once they select that, they will have to decide, are they going to be do it big bang, or they're going to do incremental iterative, right? So all of these set of questions are already built into the platform, right? And based on this, today, yeah, if somebody go through this process, they will end up with 1 method out of 49. So it's not like they're going to go and they're going to see 49 method and they have to go read about all the 49 methods to select one. If they go through the selection questionnaire, the process that you are asking about, the system would recommend 1 method for them. 1 method.
Okay.
So it's built into the system where we help them decide what method to use. However, as I mentioned, because we don't have a lot of tailored method built in yet, right? We don't have all the industries and all domain yet. there is a huge group right now, 16 methods that are related to generic project. Later on in the future, the more client we have and the more time we have, we can create and more. So maybe 2 years from now, we could end up with 200 tailored method. But the client are not going to go and look for 200 method. They will go and they answer this question, the set of a question, right? And they will be able, based on those questions, they will be able, the system would recommend one method for them. But that requires some guidance and some training initially, and that's what we do during the onboarding, right? When we do the onboarding, we show them exactly how to do this.
Thank you.
Take a look at the video today, the 1 minute video.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It's a link, correct?
It's the one I published today. I published something this morning. So if you go to my profile, you should see something I published on tailored method today. The one I talked about, I'm meeting with my team today.
Oh, I was trying to watch that video, but it says like the video is not available.
No, the 1 minute video.
Yes, once I click on it, it shows that the video was not available.
That's weird. See my posts and activities. Post. I just click on it and it's working. 1 minute and 3 seconds.
No, Munir, it says video not available.
Why?
It says that video is private, so maybe it has
Oh,
we need to change like the
yeah. Let me see. Is it private?
setting. It says that it's private. This video is private.
Maybe because it's an old and I want to update it. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I don't know why it's private. Okay, let me change it. Shoot, public, publish. Okay, now we should be able to access it. I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. It's a slide presentation only. It's not really a real video.
Yeah, it's right.
I will watch.
Yeah. And
there's
there is the tailored method webinar. That's 1 hour that we describe the whole concept. I told you why. I replaced it because maybe I have a 30-minute video of the same thing. Let me hang on. Let me get shareable link. I will share in the chat. Maybe this is better for you to watch the 30-minute video.
Thank you. Let me see. Yeah.
Is this a public video?
Huh?
Is this a public video? We can share it with others if we need?
Yeah, it is available publicly on the platform, on the web, and the YouTube channel.
YouTube.
Okay. Your post has a question about integrating with scheduling software. Yes, one second.
Which post?
The one about the tailored method, the one you posted today, it has a question. Yeah, do you integrate Uruk with any scheduling software?
I did that? Where?
The video you shared in the morning, 2 hours ago. The 1 minute video.
Yeah.
Someone commented asking about it.
Oh, yes.
Not in the post itself, in the video, you mean?
No, in the comments.
It's on the post.
LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, the comments.
Oh, somebody put a comment in. You said, yes, okay.
Independent oil and energy professional.
Yeah, this guy always asks a lot of questions. Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird. He's asking about scheduling. He usually asks about project success. Always the same question. On anything almost we post, he asks a question about project success.
Okay.
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 Anything else?
I have 2 questions, but not for the Taylor method. I'm done with the question about the Taylor method sessions. Is there?
Okay,
Do you
then
have
hang on
time?
for a second. Hang on. I'm gonna basically shut down the recording because technically we've covered that. So now I'm open.